Hey everyone, James here with Coffee and Comics, and today we're out running around with the wife and we're going to check out two stores, and both of those stores just happen to be an Ollie's discount store. That's right, two of them, so let's see what we can find. See you in there. Okay everyone, so that was the first store. We're going to go to the second Ollie store now, so we'll see you over there. Okay, everyone, so that was store number 2. I'll see y'all back at the house. See if we found anything that we want to keep. Okay, so that was the 2 Ollie stores that we went to, and I'm sure you've seen the footage in there if you've made it to this point and not just skipped ahead. But you could tell an obvious difference between store number 1 and store number 2. Store number 1, it was very well organized, maintained, nice and tidy, and everything was nice and neat. They were just on top of it. Quite a bit different. In fact, the complete opposite of that, way to the other extreme at the second store that we went to. Man, it was messy. Stuff was just scattered here and there and everywhere. It looked like it done been ransacked by everyone that entered the doors that day. No one was just on top of it taking care of anything. Nonetheless, it was a fun day. We went to 2 stores. I think in my area we have about 6 Ollie stores. Those are the 2 main ones that we go to when we go out. Before we get into, if you could, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking, sharing, commenting, all that good stuff. You know all about it. You know what to do. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so for everything that we picked up between both stores, spent around 50, 60 bucks maybe. It might have been less than 50. I picked up some stuff. The wife picked up some stuff for her collection. She has some trades, paperbacks, and a couple hardcovers. The first Ollie store, I did pick up mostly comic books. I picked up 5 value packs of comics, which could have anywhere 5 or 6 different comics, and they could also have trades. I didn't know that. They kind of changed the way they did it because I didn't see the 10 packs that they normally have in there, only the 5 value packs. I didn't pick up no trades or hardcovers at the first store. Did that at the second store. Okay, so first up, Prisoner X, Age of X-Man. And this is 2019, something about breaking the law and being sent to the Danger Room, which is the prison for mutants. And this follows the main character right here on the front, Lucas Bishop. Anyone ever read that? I have not. I will say that I did get a whole lot more indies this time than normal, mainly from Boom, which is fine. That's cool. Second up is Meet the Scroll, number 2 from 2019. And this follows a family, I think they're called the Warners, who also happen to be Skrulls. Imagine that. Next up, we have one of the indies from Boom, issue number 2, Folklords. It's about magic and monsters, and it follows a character named Ansel, or Ansel, who has visions, and this is a mini-series from 2020. If you know something about them, comment below. Betty and Veronica's next. I got 2 issues of this. This is volume 3, 2017. The only significant thing I know about this one, other than it being a number 1, it is a free comic book day edition. So I did get 2 copies of that. You used to go into Ollie's, get a lot of duplicates over and over and over, but they changed the way they did things. So fortunately, 1 duplicate. Next up is from Unity, Chapter 9, Solar, Man of the Atom, Valiant label, number 12. And this is kind of an interesting looking cover. There's not a lot going on. It's simple, but it is neat. And I had to look this up. I did research this, but I did not realize that Solar, Man of the Atom, goes way back into the 60s. In fact, it's first seen in 1962. I did not know that. Originally with Gold Key, and then it was picked up later on after it was dropped and picked up in 1991. This is a 1992 Valiant, picked up from Acclaim, took over from Valiant 1994, and then it kind of died off a little bit after that. Kind of interesting, made me a little bit peculiar about where it come from, and I did not know this character was quite that old. So I may go check out some of those 1960s versions of this. Next up is Boom, number 4, Eat the Rich. Kind of a nice black cover. It's not the same. It's kind of papery, not glossy. This is a horror mini-series for anyone who's interested in something like that and that you can't tell just by looking at the cover. It's a psychological thriller from 2021. We have Strike Force, Marvel, number 2. Nice looking cover. This is 2019. Something about the underworld type of things going on in here, and there is some notable characters that I had no idea about, such as Blade, Angela, Spider-Woman, Wiccan, Winter Soldier, and Damien Hailstorm. It's all in this book or in this series. This might be something I'll definitely check out. Of course, it is number 2. I'll have to look at number 1. Okay, so next up is Star Trek. It's from IDW. It is Countdown to Darkness. It is the number 1 issue. If you can't tell just by looking at it, I think they kind of of made this character look a little bit like Chris Pine that's in that one. This is the movie adaptation series for the movie Star Trek Into Darkness. So this sets the stage for that. This happens kind of before that happens. This is 2013. This is the first print. Now I will say I'm not a Trekkie, definitely not like a hardcore Star Trek fan, more of a Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan, but honestly I haven't really found series Star Trek or Star Wars that I enjoy. I do love the movies and the show and the action figures, but just haven't found a comic book series that I could get into. Maybe y'all mention one, maybe I can get into it. Let me know in the comments below about that. I did get 2 comics and my wife snatched those up from me immediately. She wanted those for her collection. I said okay, that's no big deal. So the first one is Richie Rich. It's a giant size, 68 pages, number 1. This is from volume 2, 1992. So not a bad looking cover there. He's stacking up his gold, you know, doing Richie Rich things. We have a Virgin variant cover. Nice and pink. What do you think about that one? This is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, if you couldn't tell that already. This is from 2018. This is a number 1. Like I said, it's a Virgin variant. It was from the New York Comic Con during that year. Okay, so next up, X-Men 92, number 1. Part of the Secret Wars. This is 2015. It's kind of a flashback from like the 90s, which I guess that's why it's X-Men 92. Flashback from 90s type X-Men things. And this says something to do with mutant rehabilitation. And that's all I know about this one. The Great Lakes Avengers, number 1, IDW. This is a 7-issue miniseries, kind of a comical thing. 2016, it's about the least favorite superhero team. These guys get reinstated back to the Avengers, I guess, for one last shot at redemption to see if, you know, they can or cannot make it. Next up, I got another indie. It's from Boom called Eve, issue number 2. This is a variant cover, 2021. Something about humanity is lost to a hidden disease. Eve, who this is right here, she awakens in secret, I guess to nobody else's knowledge but her own. She also has a robotic caretaker who is somehow stealth or sheathed in her, I guess, favorite teddy bear. You know, I don't know anything more about it than that. Seems like it might be interesting. Might give her a read. So next up is issue number 2 from Boom Studios, Win. Now, when I first looked at this, I seen the WYND. I didn't know anything about this. And I thought the WYND was, it stood for something, like an acronym of some sort. But no, that ain't it. That's the person's name. That's this character's name, and I guess it's pronounced Wind. Might be wind, but I'm thinking wind, so there you go. Now you don't have to look that up. It's a thicker book. It almost feels like a double issue. It's from 2020. And something about this character is forced to hide her identity because she has like a magical heritage. Apparently in this series, if they find out you have a magical heritage, you're punished to death. Burn the witches! Next up, Dark Blood, also from Boom. This is a 6-issue miniseries. This is number 4. It's from 2021. It's about Avery, right here on the cover. He's a World War II soldier dealing with PTSD. And there's a little bit more to it than just the PTSD. I guess there's an underlying factor where he has potential mutant abilities that are dormant, not dormant, passive, active. Maybe it goes back and forth. I don't know. This seems like I want to read this series as well. I just don't want to start with number 4. Another indie book that we have here is called The Killer. It's number 1, Affairs of the State. Kind of an interesting, simple little cover going on here. It's a first print, 2022. This is a miniseries, and this is about espionage and contract killing. So that's pretty cool. That makes me want to read it almost right away. Also, this particular cover is an incentive cover. It's a 1 out of 25 incentive variant ratio. Let me know in the comments below if you've read that Killer or have you heard of The Killer. That seems like a decent series. Might be kind of a comical, kid-like series. Maybe not. Maybe for anyone. Called Miraculous from Action Lab, number 2. This is Miraculous Ladybug. 2017. It's about Marinette on the cover. And she is in Paris. And she wants to be a fashion designer. Of course, what girl in Paris don't want to be a fashion designer? But she's also a crime-fighting superhero. We have Primal Force, number 1 from DC. Journey into Dark Corner. This is a 15-issue series from 1994, and it stars the Layman. Now, I originally thought the Layman was one person, but evidently the Layman is the entire team, a magic-themed superhero team. So that seems pretty neat. I have the Inhumans versus the X-Men, number 1. This is a thick issue. This might be a double issue, but it's pretty thick. It's 2017. It's a limited series, 7-issue series, and this is the battle over a biological substance called Terrigen or Terrigen mists. And apparently the Inhumans need it, and the X-Men, well, mutants, it will kill them. One needs it, one don't want it. Now, I'm going to take this one out because I don't know about this series, and I don't know if the rest of the books have this in there or not, if it was intended, if it was made like that. So here's the cover, but when you open it up, it looks like you have just another cover, and I don't know if they intended that to be like that. Was that intentional? Was that accidental? But there's another cover. As soon as you open it up, there's another one. But I do like the inside cover. There's the inside cover if you want to see. And then if you flip to the back, part of that cover, it's kind of like a wraparound, but it's inside. Let me know if that's supposed to be like that on the front. Are all those issues supposed to have that double cover, or is this an error? Next, I have a pretty cool black and white variant virgin cover. That's a lot of things to attach to a cover. So black and white virgin variant cover. There she is. It looks pretty cool. It's called Magic, and this is number 1. It's about Magic the Gathering, comic book series based on the card game Magic the Gathering. So any fans of that, I'm sure you could appreciate that. I'm not necessarily a Magic the Gathering fan, but this looks cool, so maybe I'll read it sometime. This was from 2021. Next, I have DC Superman Villains number 1. Pretty cool looking cover. Got a lot of different characters there on the cover. Has anyone ever read this one? Something about the truth of Superman's identity is revealed. The villains find out about it, and then things go sideways. This is from 2020. It's a little bit thicker of a book. It's not a square end. Might be a one-shot. This is a book I did have as a kid growing up, and when I say kid, I mean older kid, because we're talking 90s. Couldn't find it. Lost out there in the world somewhere, but now it has returned. It is Turok Dinosaur Hunter from Valiant, number 1, with the foil cover. Nice and pretty. Look at that. Even though it's only worth about $10, maybe more, pretty good condition, it's still a nice looking book. This is the red foil one. This is not the gold foil one. And when I say red and gold, I don't mean right here in the center. It's up here at the top. Turok, he was separated from his friend Andar. He ends up in a new time, in a new world. He's also with his technological enhanced dinosaur named Monarch. Let me know in the comments what you think of Turok. Next up and last for the comic books anyway is also a virgin variant cover, number 1. This is Basilisk from 2021. It's a pretty sharp looking cover. I don't know anything about Basilisk. I had to look it up. But apparently it's about 5 individuals who were bound by a cult-like hive mind. As much as you'd like to think that this is their kind of superheroes, according to what I looked up, they terrorize small town. And they have horrifying, supernatural, sense-based powers. And there's 12 books in this series. So that sounds like it's going to be a real fun read. Let me know if you've read that. Okay, so that's all the comics. Now, I have 1 trade paperback, well, 2 trades, 1 hardcover that I did pick up. The first trade is called Ultimate Annuals, and it is volume 2. Check out that cover. Daredevil, Punisher, Spider-Man. This is the first print from 2007. And what it collects is the Ultimate Fantastic Four Annual number 2, Ultimate X-Men Annual number 2, Ultimate Spider-Man Annual number 2, and the Ultimates Annual number 2. I did not buy this book separately. This is one of the books that came in the comic value pack. So I got this plus about 4 comics or so in one value pack. And those value packs cost about $5 each. This has a cover price of $13.99 just by itself. So that's pretty cool. I was not expecting that. Next up is Batman Eternal, and this is volume 2. I was looking to get this because I do have a couple issues of Batman Eternal. This particular volume collects issues 22 through 34. Now, here's the thing. At the first Ollie store we went to, they had about 10 volume 1s and 10 volume 2s. But I was like, nah, I'm going to get the value comic packs. I'll wait to get to the other Ollie store, and then I might pick them up. Get over at the second Ollie store, 0 value packs whatsoever. They had no value packs at all. And they only had volume 2. They did not have volume 1. So I was like, okay, I'm not going back over to the other Ollies today. I'll have to pick it up another time, which is why I only have volume 2. It's going to be a good read, but I'm not reading it until I get volume 1 first. The last book I have is a hardcover. It's Justice League Rebirth Deluxe Edition. This collects the first 12 issues in this series. I thought I'd pick up some DC stuff this time. If you've read this, let me know in the comments below. So let me back up just a second here. Back to this one. This has a cover price of $39.99, but I got this for $7.99. $7.99. So that is the type of deals that you can get when you go to Ollie. Back to this hardcover, which has a cover price of $34.99, $7.99. Last but not least, at the second Ollie store, I picked up one more item that I thought it was kind of neat, but not a comic book, and it is an action figure from Archie called Jughead, and this is a reaction figure. Look at that. How cool is this? Jughead. The figure itself is not great by any means. They do give him a little, look at that. They give him a little sandwich here because he might be hungry. But I thought that was kind of neat. I've never really seen these figures. This come from Super 7 after a little bit of research. Evidently, there's a website. I guess it's super7.com. Super and the number 7.com. And you can get all kind of different things on there. But they didn't have any of the other ones to go with this. Just Jughead. So now I'm going to have to go and collect all this set to go with it. But I thought that was kind of neat. Okay, that's what we got on this trip going to two different stores in Ollie's. You know, maybe we'll find something else next time. So let me know what you think about everything that I got on this particular trip to Ollie's. Let me know in the comments below. And if you're enjoying the content, I invite you to subscribe, become a part of the channel and the community. We can have conversations all day long about coffee and comics. Until the next video, enjoy your coffee, enjoy your comics, and enjoy your day.